Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Well, this day my son convinced me that I should get up ridiculously early and get on the river before it got too hot so we could go kayaking the Oldman River from, well, the water treatment plant all the way down to Pavan Park. Now, it's not by any means a hard kayaking trip or canoe trip or anything like that, but it is quite enjoyable, especially on a day that's going to be ridiculously hot. Most of the area is relatively easy to kayak or to raft or to go on a canoe or whatever. A couple areas that are a little bit more strenuous, and one area that's actually probably a good class 2, maybe even a class 2 plus rapid. But because most of this area is relatively shallow, if you are in trouble, you can pretty much walk yourself out. Now, right here, we're just west of Fort Whoop-Up, going through Indian Battle Park. We just passed under the Whoop-Up Drive Bridge. And just before we get to the high-level bridge, there's a little rapid area here. Again, it's nothing serious. It's quite enjoyable. There's a couple sleepers that you do have to watch out for, that if you hit them, it could get a little interesting. But tons of people float down this river on a regular basis, just enjoying themselves, and they're just on floaties, rafts or whatever, homemade stuff, and it's quite safe and enjoyable. Right here in front of the camera is one of those rocks that you have to look out for, that if you're not paying attention, or if you happen to have a couple boats tied together, which you should never do, you could have a little interesting episode right here. But again, it's nothing serious. I've been rafting or kayaking this section of the river for almost 40 years, and the water level today was absolutely ideal. Usually it's middle of August. By this time, the water level is actually very low, because this is not a high flow river by any means. And during the summertime, when it's really hot and dry, we don't get a ton of water down here. But the river level was more like it would be 2 months ago than to be what it's like today in August. It is controlled by 2 dams upstream, but because we've had some late snow melt, and because we had rains, a lot of rains a couple months ago, there's still quite a bit of water upstream. Here we are passing under the Lethbridge High-Level Bridge, or the CPR Viaduct, if you want to go by its official term. This is a massive bridge, and even more massive when you're underneath it. If you are coming down this river, or if you're doing any river, please don't tie your boats or your rafts or whatever you have together. All these concrete structures that are in the river, you may be going by pretty slowly. You may not have any hassles, but if you get one boat that goes one way, another boat goes another way, you can have quite an incident. So please use a little bit of brains when you're going down here. Have life jackets, and just think before you go down any river. This is one of my favorite sections of the river. On the right-hand side is Helen Schuler Nature Center, and I walk there just about every morning. And on the other side is Elizabeth Hall Wetlands. Looking back at the bridge, it's a massive bridge from a distance, but when you go underneath it, you realize just how big it was. To be one of those guys that was building it and being up that high. This section here is the last really smooth section until you get past the Highway 3 bridge. If you want to shorten the trip, you can pull out here. Just on the right-hand side, there's a parking lot just before the bridge, and you can get out. It's a little bit steep to get up. But once you pass that parking lot, you're shooting down a little bit of rapids and underneath the Highway 3 bridge. And the takeout spots are a little bit more limited until you get further along the river up here. Past the Highway 3 bridge, on our right-hand side is a huge gravel pit, and on the left-hand side is the Bridgeview RV Resort. And it's not really close to the water, but it's close enough that people who stay there like to come down and explore the water. Lots of areas around here that you can get out and explore. Every time I go past here, I want to get out because there's a lot of fossils in the area. And I would love to spend a day just exploring all these fossils and all the stuff that's washing into the water and revealing more areas to explore. As we were going down here, we actually caught up to a couple of guys that were also kayaking down here that were just having a blast. It's a popular river, and as it gets hotter, it gets even more popular. Most people take out by the Highway 3 bridge. Probably half of the people that use the river will go a little bit further and down to Pavan Park like us. We came upon this guy who has actually got an anchor in the water, and he's been sitting there all morning fishing. And he said he caught himself a good-sized sturgeon, and he caught himself another fish that I actually don't remember the name for, but he was having a blast. And if you look up on the scree slope just in front of us there was some people that were actually out exploring and looking for fossils. We're coming up here to Alexander Wilderness Park. It's another spot you could take out. Really not that convenient because the parking lot's a long way from the water. But it's a beautiful park to walk through. My wife and I were down here a few weeks ago, and we're wondering where the beavers were because there's a lot of cut down trees. Well, we found the beavers. Passing Alexander Wilderness Park, it smooths out for a little bit, and then just before you get to Pavan Park, there's probably the biggest rapid on the entire trip. Again, if you hit it in the, I don't know if you want to call it the right area or the wrong area, it's probably a class 2, even a 2+. I didn't get any video of it because when I hit it, I got wet. And I wasn't recording because I'd put my phone down. I should have had my GoPro with me because it would have made for some good footage, but oh well. And here you can just see the rocks up to the right here with the gravel area that they put in. And that's our takeout spot at Pavan Park. So I hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Get out there and enjoy the great outdoors, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.